Hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Do you ever put other people's needs before your own? And are you willing to sacrifice your own quality of life in order for someone else? Lack of worthiness quite often comes from childhood. And in this hypnosis session, you're going to be listening to the very hypnosis that I did with a client, that because they were told that they weren't good enough and they wouldn't amount to much in childhood, they carried that all the way through adulthood and spent their life as a people pleaser, putting other people's needs before their own. So in this hypnosis session, we use regression for them to go back to themselves as a child, understand why they were told what they were told, and to give things a new meaning. And then to harness a really resourceful state and a feeling of really holding on to that feeling of worthiness and standing up for your own values, and then future pacing this. And this uses a golf analogy of someone being very domineering and pushy, because they found that that's actually where they felt a lot of unworthiness was on a golf course. So for them, that was the right environment to test. Could they actually feel worthy to feel of equal value to anyone else? So if you can relate to feeling unworthy, to sacrificing your own needs for other people, then I think you're going to get some value from this session. Just be aware that it was created for an individual. Golf might not be your thing, and therefore that element might not quite link. So if you do like the idea of a bespoke hypnosis session for you and your individual needs, well then what I would recommend is that there's actually a hypnosis suitability test in the description. It only takes about 2 minutes to do, and you can kind of figure out if you'd be a good candidate for hypnotherapy, or you can go straight to scheduling a free 30-minute consultation call with me over Zoom, and we'll have a chat to see if I'm the right hypnotherapist to work with you. For now, though, find a quiet, comfortable place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe in a feeling of relaxation. And as you exhale, just allow your eyelids to close. And as they close, position your body in such a way that you're able to feel more comfortable or relaxed. Exhaling any tension. And then when you breathe in deeper than the last. Breathing in a wonderful feeling of relaxation and worthiness. I want you to imagine a color that best represents worthiness. Just allow whatever your intuition tells you. And then imagine breathing in a bright version of that color in through your nose. But as you exhale, just imagine a dark shadowy color leaving your body, representing unworthiness. Any thoughts or ideas about not being good enough, just allow that to leave your body in your outward breath before breathing in that bright, vibrant color of worthiness. And I want you to scan your body for where it feels like unworthiness exists. Sometimes people are surprised to know that emotions tend to have a home inside the body. Anxiety often is around the gut or lower chest. Stress sometimes around the jaw or the neck or the shoulders. But I want you to search for unworthiness. Just allow your imagination to have an idea of where it might be residing. And as you breathe in that bright, vibrant color of worthiness, imagine it melting away the unworthiness there in that location. And then as you breathe out, just imagine it leaving your body in the exhale. As you consider this a transfusion, if you had infected blood, a transfusion might give you clean blood, and the infected blood would leave. And before long, all of your blood is clean. The infection is gone. And I want you to consider the idea that you caught an emotional infection in your childhood. Perhaps an insecure, controlling person had a benefit of lowering your confidence and self-esteem, because a controlling person wants to control. And who is easier to control than someone who believes that other people's needs are more important than their own? And let's just imagine that you caught that emotional infection in childhood. As you breathe in that bright, vibrant color of worthiness, and you exhale the unworthiness, each breath is like that transfusion, meaning that emotional infection is leaving your body, and you're able to feel more and more worthy, good enough with each and every breath. And as you continue to breathe in and breathe out, you realize that the deeper you breathe, the more relaxed you're becoming. And the more relaxed you're becoming, the deeper you're breathing. And as your body relaxes, your imagination awakens. So allow your physical body to stay exactly where it is, and allow your imagination to float back in time. Float all the way back, keeping all of your life experience, wisdom, and knowledge, but going back to when you were perhaps just a small child, maybe 6 or 7 years old. And I want you to think of a time when you would have been alone, perhaps wondering why you're such a bad person. And maybe that wondering followed lots of indoctrination telling you either you're bad, unworthy, not good enough, deficient in some way. And that's just evidence of a curious, intelligent mind. That if you're presented with something, why wouldn't you be curious as to why that thing may be true? So imagine floating back to that bedroom at your current age and seeing the younger version of you, and then saying hello. Now initially, a strange person in a room might cause some kind of confusion, even shock. But I want you to let this younger version of you know that you are them from the future. And of course, they don't believe you to begin with, which is why you're going to tell them a secret that only they know. Nobody else knows but you and them. And that's why when you tell them, they start to believe that you are indeed them from the future. And it might take 1 or 2 secrets you have to share. But when that younger version of you accepts that you are indeed them from the future, let me know by nodding your head. And I want you to tell them, that version of you that feels unworthy, deficient, perhaps bad, that they are worthy. They're precious, valuable, capable. Give them a hug if they need it. And I want you to tell them that all of those things that their mother told them wasn't because it was true. It's because it made them easier to control. And I want you to see that intelligent young girl, almost like a light switch goes off in their head, where they understand why they were being told what they were told, and that something else is true. Why would someone that wants to control tell someone they're unworthy? Because if they knew the truth, they would be more difficult to manipulate. And if that younger version of you starts to believe your version of events, let me know by nodding your head. And then tell them the absolute truth. They are worthy. They are more than good enough. They are capable. And they deserve just as much as anyone else. They're not better than, nor are they worse than. They are equal to. And when that younger version of you accepts that belief to be true, let me know by nodding your head. And I want you to think back to that color that represented worthiness. And then just imagine a glowing ball of energy in that color. I want you to hand it to that little girl. And she places it to her chest, absorbing all of that worthiness. And then imagine all of the unworthiness melts away. And the clues will be her facial expression, her body language. And she will stop wondering why she's such a bad person and think different thoughts. Rather than intrinsically accepting false narratives, she might wonder why a mother would say things that aren't true. But I want you to feel that you are healing an old infection. And when you feel that infection at the emotional level is indeed healed, imagine it rippling all the way through time to the present. That's it. Give that girl a hug. Tell her that she's loved, is worthy, is valuable, is precious. And then say goodbye, saying that you'll return whenever she needs your help. And if she looks happier than when you arrived, let me know by nodding your head. That's it. And then float forwards in time, still in your past, but the future compared to this little girl, to a time when you were absolutely putting your needs first. I want you to think of that time, and you weren't willing to accept that someone else, their needs, their time, their attention, or anything else was more important than yours. And when you can see that version of you exuding worthiness and having the boundaries to defend that worthiness, go back to that moment and just observe how you breathe, how you move. And I want you to see someone with power, strength, and certainty. There is no need for aggression. The certainty is sufficient to just know you are valuable and worthy, and your needs have value. And then imagine stepping into that version of you, feeling that way, worthy, powerful, and equal to anyone. And when you feel that way, I want you to see a glowing circle beneath your feet in that exact same color of worthiness. And then feel it expand upwards like a cylinder, like you're now standing in a beam of light in that color of worthiness. And when you feel it, experience, and know it's there, let me know by nodding your head. And then take that with you as you go forward into a fictional reality, a future that hasn't happened. I want you to imagine seeing yourself on a golf course. And I want you to see the person behind you on the previous hole is a dominant, entitled, bullying type of person. They deeply believe that they are more valuable, that they are superior to anyone else, including you. Now you're the observer here, but I want you to see yourself on the golf course in that cylinder of glowing light, full of worthiness, with the facial expression and the body language of someone that cannot be beaten or manipulated into accepting that they are less worthy than they are. And I want you to see an interaction where that dominant character is trying to make you feel small so they can control you. And I want you to see how that version of you responds. See that version of you refusing to back down. That maybe if this person would have acted nicely, you would have been different, but they didn't. There was an expectation, an entitlement, and because of that, it creates the most defiant, powerful, empowered version of you. And if you can see how that version of you handles that situation, and that you're proud of how that version of you handles it, let me know by nodding your head. That's it. And then rewind it and step into that version of you. Feel the worthiness, and then imagine seeing that dominant personality being impatient, forceful, and feel that the right words come when you need them, that you are standing your ground. You have just as much right to be there as anyone else. They will need to wait their turn in the same way that occasionally you need to wait yours. And if it feels like it is impossible to make you feel rushed, pressured, or stressed because you feel so worthy, let me know by nodding your head. And just consider that you went all the way back in time and took a mighty oak tree out by its roots when it was a sapling, when you were just a child, and instead planted a tree of worthiness. And that tree has been growing all of this time. And now the mighty oak is a mighty oak of worthiness. And not even a crane can remove it from its roots. And when you feel this to be true, let me know by nodding your head. And all these thoughts and emotions you've been feeling are like the acorns falling from that tree. Before they were unworthy, and now they're worthy. And you don't have to do anything other than remind you that you are worthy. And the thoughts and feelings will flow from that deep-rooted belief. I want you to smile at that dominant character, knowing that you didn't back down. And it's now time to float back to your present, taking all of these changes with you. So take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Just wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. That's it. As I now count from 1 to 10 to awaken you, starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode of The Hypnotist. And if you've enjoyed today's episode, I would encourage you, if you haven't already, to hit the subscribe button or follow button to make sure that you're automatically notified of any future episodes that I release. Also, by doing that, it lets the algorithm know that you like this show, and that will put it in front of even more people that might not know that this show exists. So that would be helpful for me. And if you like the stuff that I do, take a moment just to have a look in the show notes or the description, because there's lots of free things that I have to offer, including free hypnosis downloads without the intro or the outro like I'm doing now. So thank you again for joining me on today's episode, and I'll see you again soon for the next one.